Good evening over there, B.
Good evening over there, Em. What's new in your part of the world?
But at least it looks like it's night, as opposed to your part of the world, where it actually looks like it might be even day.
Where I'm the night during the day. Nah.
Hard pass.
Now I have children in my place. Well, a child. So you're not the only one special today.
Okay, you're very special.
Thank you. We have a bit of a macabre subject today. And this is maybe, PCA, as you guys would call it in the US, I believe. Is it public service announcement?
I wouldn't characterize it as such, especially since it likely is not our one and only topic. But we don't know. We have this resolution for 2021 to make shorter videos, which we also had for 2020. So
yeah. So we're good at we're very good at breaking our resolutions. That's why we don't call it. That is why we don't call them promises, because it sort of sounds harsh when you say that you broke a promise. But if you broke a resolution, it's up to you. It's all good. So
hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have TikTok?
I do, yes.
You should burn it with fire. Throw it in the toilet. Flush with acid. Throw a hand.
So you're basically saying that I should destroy one of the very few parts of TikTok that are safe.
Are you sure they're safe? Especially with you being, how you're called today, an ecumenist.
Oh no, somebody called me an ecumenist. I'm withering away into oblivion. Oh no.
I'm imagining you just blowing, and just exploding in a burst of ecumenism.
I actually got a very silly comment in a video that's not even on my channel. I left a comment on a Catholic channel that was sort of neutral, nothing said, and people started replying, "Oh, it's Bible illustrated and everything," and some guy said, "Trash." I don't know if you noticed that part.
But internet people, even though it's obviously a negative comment, the person doesn't like you, but still, it's like you love them for just bringing so much joy into at least 5 minutes of your life by being so with having such do you say brevity or brevity, right? Like brevity.
Brevity?
Yeah, like being short and
concise.
Yeah, I love those comments,
Those are the best.
Because it's like those stupid jokes, it's like they're stupid, but they make you laugh like crazy.
Yeah.
But anyways, you were again tagged as an ecumenist, and I loved the argumentation.
Because every time somebody calls me an ecumenist, I always ask them, what is your definition of ecumenism? And that is always, whenever somebody asks me, do you believe in tall houses? I ask them, what is your definition of tall houses? Because people have surprisingly varying definitions of these two terms, and his definition was simply great. I don't know if you have it open. I honestly feel lazy opening it up, but he said something along the lines of, you're subscribed to Catholic channels, you leave positive input on channels like this. By the way, the channel in question is Breaking in the Habit, so
But the guy's dressed as a Catholic. What's it called?
Friar.
Friar. Yes.
Well, he's a Catholic friar. I mean, he's not simply dressed.
sorry. But I think it's the dress code that puts people off. Some people off who are from the Orthodox church. But I can only imagine, the schema monk clothes.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I found it.
Oh, okay. Read it.
Somebody said, "Love your videos, Boyan." Also, my friend calls you Bohan because he's he's like Spanish speaking, and Jew, it's like Bohan.
Hey.
But he also referred to my daughter as Julia.
Oh, that's the name. Okay.
Yeah, and then so love your videos, Boyan, and then somebody with a Cyrillic nickname, Luca 310.
It's probably a verse. I'll look it up.
Could be.
I bet it is something about do not be deceived, something. Let's see.
Yeah, he is, but he's an ecumenist. Now, when the second I saw that, I was like, this is gonna be juicy. And then, of course, you ask, how am I an ecumenist? He said, he taxatively said, you leave positive comments on videos like this. Then I had to find out what the video is. It's a video
and of course,
Catholic friar talking about how talking and dealing with abortion is not the only thing you should do as a Christian, which is, by the way, it's a solid video. Nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's zero theology. It's more like a sober.
Yeah, remember the most important thing and then go from that. I mean, nothing.
Something like that. Like I wouldn't even call it Catholic. Like it could have been any Protestant or Christian.
I could have made an identical video 100%.
But it's Catholic, so it stinks.
Yeah.
No, so you leave positive comments on videos like this. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You follow Catholic channels. How dare you?
How dare I?
And a lot of other things. Plus, you're too liberal. That's the only thing that might have triggered an alarm with me, for example, right? Like leaving positive comments on Christian videos, couldn't care less. Following Catholic channel, couldn't care less. But liberal,
what's the fun thing? That requires further elaboration. How am I liberal? Well, what are my stances? Am I pro-LGBT? Am I pro-gay marriage? Am I pro-abortion? What am I pro that makes me liberal? Am I pro-communism, social? I mean, what makes me liberal?
I honestly think the guy was just making like a deduction,
Mm-hmm.
He reacts positively on a Catholic video, which also means that he watches Catholic content, which also means he must be too liberal, because if an Orthodox Christian is
oh yeah okay
I'm just saying.
No, it could be, but he sort of made a differentiation between me being an ecumenist and a liberal. So, and I'm an ecumenist because I watch these sorts of videos and they leave positive input. Oh no.
Fun fact about him, though, or her, there's like the avatar, the profile photo is like a German Nazi officer.
To be quite honest, I was pretty sure it's a German Nazi officer, but
it is.
I mean, can you zoom the picture? No, because maybe it's simply an old photo and it looks like a German Nazi officer, but maybe it's not.
Okay, but dude, if you're gonna put that photo, sure it doesn't look like a German Nazi. Like, seriously. What's wrong with you?
You know that the great are we the baddies? you know that video? No, what are the comedians called? I think Mitchell and Webb, like two Nazi officers in a trench, and suddenly one of them asks the other, Henrik, are we the baddies? Why do you ask that, Hans? well, we have all these skulls and black uniform. I mean, they literally look like walking evil. I just thought that we might be the bad guys. And they're like covered in skulls and bones. And it's a terrific video. We'll put it in the description and then we will forget.
No. Every time B says we're gonna put something in the description, I'm like, no, you're too lazy to look for the link after we're done recording. But anyways,
I'm typing it down. So
before we go any further, I just want to say your comment is top notch. Your reaction to his definition of ecumenism is poor me.
Oh no! An internet person is annoyed at me. Which is ironically, I mean, he is also annoyed at an internet person.
Before we move forward, first of all, personal congratulations for triggering the Church of Satan on Twitter. We can talk about that on another episode, but personal congratulations. I thoroughly enjoyed.
Thank you.
Thoroughly.
Me too.
Second of all,
by the way, it's not like I'm advocating for this, but they seem to be very easy picking if you're troll inclined. I'm just saying, I'm not saying you should do it.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Look. People get triggered. Many different people. Nowadays, this is ridiculously, obvious. People get triggered. Everybody gets triggered. People who say they don't get triggered, they get triggered. Period.
Yeah.
And the worst part of it is you get triggered by somebody who represents something you don't like or you're fighting against. That's the worst kind. And you almost always get a reaction if you do that. I don't personally troll people online. I don't troll anybody online. I would go through the effort of leaving a comment only if I had like a very intense reaction of something. And usually it's only positive reactions. Like I like to thank people, for example, on YouTube when they do a great video, when they educate me or make me smile. I love that. Like they open up a new path, a new way of thinking. That to me, like I have to say thank you. I think I might have left a negative comment just a couple of times, but I don't troll. Unlike me, you do troll, but I enjoy a bit of trolling from others. I thoroughly enjoyed yours, for example. But let's talk about that in another episode.
Okay, sure. I'll just say one thing. I don't actively engage in trolling. I don't go out and start a flame war. No, not even that. This one is squarely on the Church of Satan, but we'll talk about that more in the next episode. And this episode will be an hour of us telling you what we will talk in the next episode.
I'm just thinking.
Do not.
He spoke with a Protestant, ecumenist. He didn't go to church on one Sunday, ecumenist.
Yes.
He got the Russian vaccine, ecumenist. He got the Oxford vaccine, double ecumenist.
That's already like liberal.
Sorry, but also ecumenist. And I hear that perhaps with the beginning of the second quarter of 2021, BNI might resume recording offline, meaning with some decent background, actually sitting one in front of each other, in front of another, and spitting at each other, and
Corona
and all that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So let's work on setting up a studio.
Yeah, and let's do it.
Push this to the next level, The
fancy level.
Yeah,
no. No, because
grow, and become big mice.
because we are going to record short episodes, you will have to like bring a bunch of clothes, so it's not apparent that we recorded all in one session, like in that TV shows.
That's doable. That's doable. You know what the good thing can also be? Like I tend to wear hats recently. I never wore them. Like maybe I started maybe 2 years ago. I can just wear all my hats and just change them and maybe change two t-shirts in total, and nobody will notice. But anyways,
true.
We actually have a very dark topic to discuss today, and the dark topic is TikTok. Of course, as everything else that you have at your disposal in life, you can use things for good, you can use things for bad, you can use things to benefit yourself, you can use things to benefit others, or you can just not use something because you either don't have the wish for it or there's nothing good to be gained from it. Unfortunately, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, everything can be used for bad things. And one of the worst things I've seen nowadays with popular platforms are these ridiculously dangerous challenges on TikTok. One very specific being, quote unquote, blackout challenge on TikTok. Now, the first thing that I see when I input TikTok blackout in my Google over here, I get some YouTuber with a blackout challenge TikTok compilation.
Oh.
And then the second one is 10-year-old girl that dies after TikTok blackout challenge.
Yeah.
And then the third news is blackout challenge. Italy moves against TikTok over 10-year-old girl's death, etc., etc. What might be public here that a 10-year-old girl died in Italy, you might not be aware of the fact that a 10-year-old boy just died 2 days ago in Serbia, in Belgrade, Serbia, because of the same thing. And a friend of mine, a great friend of mine, he's actually a firefighter. He was called to the scene. Lucky for him, the police didn't allow them to go inside and just sent them because first of all there was nothing they could do, and second of all they wanted to spare them from looking at that scene. But as life tends to arrange things, my friend's brother, his sibling, the boy's father works for him. So it's like, imagine losing a child. I can't.
No. I
indescribable, unacceptable. But imagine losing a child to that.
By the way, just a quick note. Blackout challenge is when you try to induce unconsciousness by choking yourself. And of course, some kids take it too far and simply lose their life to a silly TikTok challenge. And what I said to Em before, it is actually very difficult to protect your children from this unless you're very computer savvy. Imagine that you're like a 40-year-old parent in Serbia that's not all that computer literate. You know what to say to your child as regards to the streets, watch left and right, don't go running across the street and so on. You know what to say to your child regarding power outlets, stray dogs and so on. You know something about the internet and you're like, don't talk to strangers and so on. But this isn't really what strangers talking to. You're just watching a video, and that's the worst part of it. There might be a good chance that there was no way for these parents ever to prepare either themselves or their child for any sort of danger on these social networks. I don't know, to be quite honest, I would ban any challenge word ever. There was that ice bucket challenge.
True.
Okay, I understand it, and thank God that I think at least older people took it up. But how safe it is to dump all that cold water upon yourself? Or much worse, cinnamon challenge. Do you remember that one?
Dear, no, I would like. I saw people literally choking from that.
I mean, in the case, again, you don't know, it involves taking a huge spoonful of cinnamon and swallowing it up. If you guys ever had tiramisu or any such sweet that has powdered cinnamon on it, the odds are that you will inhale it as you try to bite it and you will cough. Now imagine taking a whole spoonful of cinnamon.
It's suicide.
Bad. Yeah. I mean, I think that people actually did die from asphyxiation due to due to cinnamon, of all things.
No, due to a stupid challenge.
Yeah, I don't even want to go into some extreme examples of. There was that Russian model who was hanging from a building in order to make a viral photo. I mean, thank God she did survive, but there are many others who don't. But these are older people, and they do know what they're getting themselves into. And but this, and especially because this is trending among really young people. I think that we will only see and reap the rotten fruit of social media in like the following decade,
You know, I have a personal issue with this because I'm a father. I'm a father, and I'm a father to kids who are born and are going to be raised in the 21st century.
Yeah.
So Netflix just started streaming this TV show called Heartbreak High, which is a show from my childhood. It's an Australian TV show about high school kids.
Oh wait, is it with the one that they were showing when we were young?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know it. Okay.
We translated it here as Nestašne godine.
Yeah. Which the okay translation.
Which it is. But the thing is, I started binging it a bit, and I love how it still vibes with me. I love how it's still, actual. It's like it's still relevant. And I admire this period because I'm a kid from the 90s. And I admire this period without cell phones, or with every 100th person having a cell phone. The one pull the antenna, speak. And I love how people were just so much more relaxed, and how playing and doing stuff was much more physical, and people were there, people were together. Really nothing like it is today, because we communicate more via IM applications and social media than we do in person. Like you and I, we communicate 99%. We just text each other via Viber. 99% of our communication.
Yeah.
This is reality.
Which is sad.
I don't know, but here's my problem. Here's my problem with it. My kid is not gonna have even remotely the same experience in school that I had, and that these kids had. When this show was made, it's 1994. So, these guys, like the cast is like, the cast who played the high school kids, they're like 10 years older than you and me. So it's a generation in front of us. But it was more or less the same. The way they grew up, and we watched it at the time, it really resonated with us. And unfortunately for us, cell phones already started to be like a huge thing when we were in high school. So everybody was SMSing everybody. So it was already different. And I'm trying to put this into perspective of how my kids are going to grow up. And here's the thing: we had challenges, we had stupid challenges when we were kids, but they were kind of local, they were kind of local. And now the stupidest thing gets viral so freaking fast, and you have kids not just in a neighborhood, city, or country. You have kids worldwide being taken by storm by a very stupid challenge.
Yeah. And for what? And for what?
Yeah, you no longer have like an isolated case of a casualty or something bad happening. You have multiple bad things happening. And as a parent, your hands are mostly tied in this because your kid can't go to school. If look at this corona, for example. Like I remember listening to Orthodox priests in a podcast saying that they had to buy a smartphone for their kids because otherwise in this pandemic state they can't do school. So and they are now a witness of how kids spend most of their time with the freaking phone.
Yep.
The kids who were not exposed to this, they were keeping them away from that, just as I'm trying to keep my kids away from that. So to be 100% honest with you, if I was any sort of like earthly power, I would freaking make these platforms absolutely ban children from using them.
Yeah.
I would ban children from using this.
By the way, I mean, I think that YouTube has come a long way. Has come a long way in order to protect the children. And of course, there's a lot of bad content out there. There's simply too much videos uploaded and they can't possibly monitor it all. But at least they're trying. As for TikTok, I don't know. I think the issue with TikTok is that its audience is primarily young people. And, by the time you ban somebody, people have died.
It's not only that. Here's the problem. We don't have any long-term research that would tell us should children even be allowed on any internet-based social platforms. Like
do we need that research? Do we need that research?
No, we don't. But some people unfortunately do, because they're like, oh, you tyrant, you would ban children from. People just don't have the bandwidth anymore, and sometimes don't even have the capacity. Like I don't want to insult anybody, but intellectual or emotional capacity to understand how freaking dangerous this is. It's dangerous. Now, Serbia doesn't have a problem with this, but hello, United States, Russia, Great Britain, and I don't know, other countries. What about sexual predators? Aren't you freaking scared to death with sexual predators about your young children? Come on, the amount of ridiculousness that I see. Come on, let's go together and Google about people who catch these guys. Within the first 24 hours of creating a profile, a young 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old girl will get hundreds of pedophile followers in case they do a public profile. They will get contact by dozens of them within the first 24 hours. Now, you understand now where I'm coming from?
I understand completely.
I would ban children from these platforms. I would do it. We have parental controls for TV. There's a way for me to prevent my kids from getting to a porn channel, for example. I can do it easily. Like even
maybe you shouldn't have it.
No, I don't. I don't have television. Oh, okay, it's fine.
No, okay.
I can ban them from using the YouTube application, the Netflix. I can do that. I can limit them to using only like YouTube Kids, which is well done, YouTube.
Yeah. Kudos.
But I can do that for very small children. I can even do that for older children because, it could be pin protected. But you know what?
Yeah.
The little rascals will find the pin.
Yeah, like if you, if you're not there 3 afternoons, they will type all 10,000 combinations minus
Come on,
one.
I remember when I was a kid and we used to play computer games too much, and our father was like, "Okay," he just takes away our power cable. He brings it.
Yeah.
He brings it to work, but then my brother takes the printer's power cable, and we just use that. So he never knew. He never he never knew. But he was so logical. It is. Maybe he knew. I don't know. I'm gonna ask him. But here's the thing, right? It's getting progressively, exponentially harder to raise kids to avoid this kind of crap. It's simply because it's so overwhelming that I guess when you're a kid in school and you don't have TikTok.
Two things. When I was in gym today, one of the guys who works out there actually works in Serbian ER, Belgrade ER. And he said that this is actually around 30th death in Serbia that has ties with TikTok. Maybe even this specific challenge. I do hope that that's not true. I do hope that that's not true.
Yeah, look, B, if you're a parent, maybe you wouldn't be so open in admitting that your child passed away because of that challenge. So it's very possible. Like, I'll tell you this. The news outlets in Serbia said that potentially this death is related to the TikTok challenge.
Okay.
It's only that my friend told me what happened. The kid tied a belt around his neck and tied it to the bed and put himself on TikTok doing whatever, choking himself.
Yeah, and I do hope that the numbers aren't that high.
Who's to blame? But no, come on. Who's to blame? Who is to
TikTok? I mean, there are multiple layers, but primarily TikTok. TikTok needs to have a system in place that prevents idiocy like this happening somehow.
But B, it's not possible.
It is. You ban all users younger than 18.
Well, okay, but that's not filtering bad content. That's putting a roadblock for underage kids, which is what I proposed in the beginning.
Listen, I know
content. It's only possible when you're fighting Trump. I just had to. Sorry, I just
no. That's fine. That's fine. No. But honestly, I hate to say this, but once you're 18, feel free what you want to do with your life and your death. I hate saying it, but it's how there has to be a time when you're off your parents' reins and you're free to go and do whatever silly or wrong thing you can do with your life. But when you're impressionable, the odds are much higher that you will do the blackout challenge when you're a kid than when you're older. And for that reason, little kids should not be exposed. That's the problem with social media. You can regulate TV so strictly that there's no chance in hell that something like this would appear in a Saturday morning cartoon. But you can get these things and even much worse things, like it's candy, especially on TikTok.
Yes. So parental control seems to be an illusion because it's limited to a very specific set of things, like your cell phone, your tablet, your TV set, maybe your fridge. If you're using you have an Android operating system in your fridge. But here's the thing, right? Here's why I mentioned Trump. When we're talking about, people who are prominent, stuff like that, you can police the hell out of them if you want to. So, what happened with Trump? He supposedly instigated stuff, and they were like, okay, but, it's super easy to police that. You have Trump. He has millions of followers. You just
He's one guy. He was the president of the United States, but he's still one guy. You can easily police one guy. Yeah,
and that goes for anybody else who is. You can find him, find them, find their followers. Bam, done. You can do whatever you want. But a platform such as TikTok, where you have millions of users, and billions of views, you can't police that. You simply can't police that. However advanced our artificial intelligence algorithms are or whatnot, right now you can't police that. So if you can't police content, you have to put stricter terms to prevent children from being exposed to crap. There was fairly recently, as in the last 10 years, there was this idea of creating a very specific internet domain specific for pornography, and it was shut down. I remember I used to watch Scrubs, the TV show. I love that TV show, and I remember a comment from Dr. Cox, which is like one of the funniest characters in the show, talking about you can't cancel porn, you can't remove porn from the internet, because this was his comment, because then there would be only one website left, and it would be called bringbacktheporn.com.
Okay.
So, but the point is, so the idea was not let's cancel porn, but let's put it in its own specific domain extension. So that will allow anybody to just block it out on any level, in your computer level, application level, router level, network level, which would then remove a buttload of cash from many people's wallets. So that's why it never passed. But if you ask me, porn is so available to children nowadays. Like I went to some family like years ago, and there were these kids who are my family, and they were like, let me show you something. And they like play porn, and they're laughing to them. It's like there's still some childish embarrassment. And they're like, yeah, look at that. And then they pull a YouTuber who's like swearing like stuff that's going out of this kid's mouth.
Is it a Serbian YouTuber?
Yeah, one of the most popular kids YouTubers.
Oh yeah, I assumed. And if I ever have children,
the second one, the first one is, and then the second one, the kid that just.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Yeah, if I ever become a parent, the first thing I will do is to forbid my children from watching Serbian YouTubers.
And here's where the problem goes. Look, I'm an IT guy. I'm fairly competent with stuff, including programming. I can hack my child's phone. I can hack my child's computer. I can track my child in many different ways in terms of what they're doing online. But I can't, even if I wanted to go however far I want to go, I can't do that for their friends. So the reality is, as a parent, I can't prevent my children from being exposed to very bad content, including porn, ridiculous challenges, questionable points of view that are being forced left and right nowadays, left and right, which I don't agree with, but also my church doesn't agree with, my community doesn't agree with, my closest friends do not agree with. So, and it's becoming harder and harder for you to realize your rights as a parent, which is to raise your children the way you see fit, not the way somebody else sees fit. Because I didn't have children for I don't know, for the school to raise them. No, that's not it. These are my kids. I can raise them the way I want to, right? It's like one of the basic rights. But I think I'm being denied this right with my children being so ridiculously exposed to everything over the freaking internet. So this is a big problem, as you can see. It unfortunately sometimes takes the shape of a huge tragedy like this one. Imagine a 10-year-old kid.
I don't want to.
Dying. All those people who died by falling from a rooftop of a building, like trying to do a good selfie. Guys, what went wrong? Whenever I start asking this question, I inevitably come back to this particular topic, which is people shouldn't be exposed to this without any sort of gateways,
Yep.
And nobody wants to police tech unless there's big money to be made.
Yep.
And tech brings a lot of money. TikTok brings a lot of money to the table. And that's why it's very hard to police it. Facebook brings so much money to the table. It's hard to police. Like, look at these guys. Their pockets are freaking full. So it's all about money. It's all about money.
Yeah. Well, St. Paul said it best.
Yeah. I mean, I apologize for being this like aggressive, but this hurts me to my core, man. It hurts me to my core because it presents the biggest challenge for me in terms of raising my kids. I'm going to have to go above and beyond to install these gateways in them, into their brains and hearts. Because if I fail at that, I failed as a parent, because they will get quickly overwhelmed by simply having exposure to all this crap. When I was a kid, we had different challenges, but my father was such a great parent. I would feel shame. That was the extent of his parenting. I would feel shame when I did something bad, and I would feel shame. The reason why I wouldn't tell him things is not because he would punish me or something. I was ashamed. I was ashamed. So, but I gotta say, even though my father had it very hard raising 2 kids practically on his own, I might get it harder because I was exposed to very little. It was all the stuff I was exposed to depended solely from my immediate community, of friends and acquaintances, and it was so limited. But today, they're just exposed to everything, and kids nowadays, they all know English so quick, and they can consume any content online. So I am scared. I'm scared. I was already scared that I'm not gonna do even 10% of my dad, what my dad did for me, and it's even harder.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you can completely, without any problems, call me a coward, and you will be right, because I'm freaking scared. But yeah, I kind of actually fully have my faith in God in this matter, because I always remember one thing, and I never let it go. I never let this one go. That which is impossible to man is possible to God.
Yep.
So whenever I feel that something is way beyond me, that's what I hold on to, and that's what I believe in, and that's what keeps me from completely losing it, to be honest.
Of course.
From being completely overwhelmed and going completely down into desperation. Yeah. Sorry for this monologue.
No, it's fine. But I'm pretty sure that I'm next to 100% certain that the time will come when there will be a sizable portion of parents who will oppose exposing kids to technology as long as possible. And when these parents find a way to network, I think it will be easier for everybody, because what is the primary problem with not exposing your kids to technology? They will have no friend in school. But if you have more of these kids who are not exposed to, constant screens and notifications and whatnots, then maybe something could be done. Maybe. Again, the gym owner had a couple of great comments. There are three things that education in Serbia needs to do in order that we might have a chance. The first one, the introduction of school uniforms. The second one is to ban cell phones and smartphones in the school on the school premises immediately.
I would do that, 100%.
Yeah, and third, no parking of cars and picking up kids in the school parking. So if you want to pick up your kid, you have to go. And finally, okay, so it's four things. You don't get to pick the school where the kid goes. I mean, primarily here, elementary schools and high schools, because the way we had it in Serbia, you simply went to your nearest school and high school. However, now you can get to pick schools, and there are ranking lists. And he listed a friend of his who drives her daughter to an elementary school every day to and fro. Why? Because it is a prestigious school. I mean, it's an elementary school. As long as it gets you to the high school, you're fine. So it's totally insane.
I don't necessarily fully agree with that. Because I don't know, why wouldn't you be able to pick the school for your kid or whatever you want for your kid? You maybe there's a school with like toxic teachers right next to you. Would you want your kid to go there? I don't know. It's like, as I think the more choice, the better, as long as this choice is based on, as long as the person who is to make the choice is the person who should be making the choice. A very good friend of mine, also cousin, also a colleague, everything at the same time. He enrolled his daughter to a school that's not nearby. He drives her to school every day, and there were some comments, snarky, bad comments from parents, reflecting on the fact that kids from that neighborhood are going to this school, and I don't see that being a problem, to be honest with you. I really don't. The problem, you need to, if you're analyzing an issue, right? It's like if you're analyzing a problem, an issue, you have to do it like it's when somebody comes to the doctor, they ask you, what's the symptom, and then based on the symptom, you're trying to hunt down whatever the cause is. So what is the symptom? What's the problem that we're solving? And that's how I would approach this. If we're having problem with kids at school, and we absolutely do, there's a problem of them paying attention at school. There's a problem with them communicating with teachers, communicating with other kids at school. There's problem at them actually getting good grades at school. You solve that by removing the cause of the problem. And the cause of the problem is very clear. They're overwhelmed and engaged with different social applications and whatnot on their phones. So that's an easy one. What kind of a problem are you trying to solve by not allowing parents to bring their
it's actually very simple. It's not merely about going to picking your school. This is a wider issue with every parent thinking that their precious little child is an absolute genius, a little Leonardo da Vinci, and a small Homo universalis. So they're sending the kid to 1 or 2 sports, 1 or 2 languages, 3 or 4 arts, and the poor kid is overwhelmed with the extracurricular activities. And among other things, they need to go to the prestigious school. I'm perfectly fine with trying to raise your kid in the best way possible. But you don't need to be fighter, cleric, mage, bard combo. if a child has a preference.
I think that one is solved rather by educating the parents, rather than
True.
This is something that can be solved with education. But there are some problems that I think you need to have a more radical approach. Since you mentioned it, the same person I just mentioned, we talked about briefly how we feel about potentially enrolling our children into a private high school.
Okay.
And there's a newly opened private high school here, more or less close to where I live. And we just discussed it, and we were like, imagine enrolling your kid there, and the poor thing is going to school with children from the representatives of our government and quote unquote businessmen. Can you imagine that? Like, I would never do that to my kid and to myself. Imagine that kid, going into a fight with somebody's, from somebody's kid, whose father is like from the mob.
Yeah. True.
Like in Serbia, this is still not it. In Serbia, unfortunately, the rich, quote unquote, the wealthy, in many a case, they are, wealthy because they stole from the people, because ties with the government, and if you're with the government, everybody freaking steals. Anyways, I think it's been almost an hour, so we need to be.
I have no idea, and I still can't believe we can't figure out how long we are recording this.
Yeah, I did a hack, so I know.
Okay.
It's 50 something minutes.
Okay.
But I just want to ask, if you're viewing this episode, if you have any sort of a feeling about this, be it strong or mild or whatever, if you have any thoughts you'd like to share, especially if it's a different point of view, different perspective regarding, we did say some pretty radical things. Like, I am 100% for not allowing kids on TikTok. So, if you disagree, like, please leave a comment. I would be more than happy to be given a different point of view, to be exposed to something that I might not see, especially being frustrated with what's going on right now. So yeah. What do you think we should do about this?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think actually I only have one idea, but you probably as a parent have more, and that is educating kids as early as possible of the harm they can get exposed to. But
I'm with you, and that's what every parent should be doing. But what I'm trying to say is, peer pressure is terrible. Like, we've all felt it. Peer pressure when you're a kid, it's usually overwhelming, and it's frustrating and depressing and very hard to be excluded from from the community, to be regarded as an alien, to be different. So if you're raising your kids like this, they are bound to have this problem, because everybody is on TikTok. So it's not just educating kids on what's wrong and what's not, it's also educating kids to cope in cases where they're not flowing down the mainstream.
Yeah.
So it's such a challenge, man. I'm
raise your kids the right challenge.
I'm now thinking, I'm afraid of, basically people viewing this and being like, we won't have kids, you should. I think, it might look like it's a bigger challenge, but maybe our parents had even a bigger one. We don't really know. I know it was harder for them in terms of, they went through their own crisis. There was problems with money, with health, with food. Every time carries its own weight and challenge. So
yeah.
So, and again, remember, everything's possible to God. Everything, every single thing. And that's where I want to end this. And also burn TikTok with fire.
True. Amen.
Share, like, subscribe, or just comment if you agree/disagree, or if there's any perspective you might offer. I gladly engage.
Yeah, the perspective part is, especially if you're ever involved in any issues regarding this, please let us know how you dealt with it. It might be useful to somebody.
Also, if you want to troll B for being an ecumenist, go ahead. I'll join you. There was a guy who commented on our last video. I think he came with predisposition, with bias, I think he thinks that we are freelancers, and he is frustrated with freelancers. Then that's where he was coming from. But he was like, his comment was like, your general education is zero. Like,
oh yeah.
remember that comment? I love those. Like people just assuming things. I'm sorry. I mean, general education. Imagine saying that to somebody who just went through college, like, your general education is zero. And I'm like, how does one respond to this?
Oh yeah, no way.
So if you have those kind of comments, feel the wrath or something.
The wrath of Gorn.
Gorn?
It's on page, and sometimes when somebody says wrath, I say wrath of Gorn. It's this traditionalist page on Facebook. That's about it.
Traditionalist?
Yeah, simply traditionalist. Not necessarily Christian. I mean, Christian traditionalist, but it is more traditionalist than Christian. What are you doing?
I'm whispering into the microphone.
Okay. Why?
I don't know. I thought it was goodbye.
Bye.